1MDB has sparked embezzlement and money laundering investigations across
one of the
at least
biggest
10
corruption
countries.
scandals the world has ever seen.
What may be the biggest financial scam in history.
A number of corrupt 1MDB officials treated this public trust as a personal bank account.
Follow us as we bring you into the courtroom where the biggest financial scandal in Malaysian history is being heard. By the Malaysian Insight, this is the Najib Razak 1MDB trial, and I'm Patrick Teo. The 20th day of the trial began at 2 p.m. and was a short one. The court revisited how Najib had prevented the Sovereign Wealth Fund from being audited. As defense lawyer Shafee Abdullah continued his cross-examination of the ninth witness, Shahrol Halmi, we also heard how the scandal could have come to light much earlier if Shahrol had not followed the instructions given to him, in the lawyer's words, blindly. But follow blindly he did, because Shahrol believed that any instructions from Joe Low were instructions from Najib. Shafee got straight down to business and started firing questions at Shahrol about the federalization of 1MDB. It was Shahrol's third week on the witness stand, and Shafee is only halfway done with his cross-examination. He told the judge he hopes to be done by the end of the week. To recap, 1MDB, formerly known as the Terengganu Investment Authority or TIA, was set up by the Sultan of Terengganu to drive development in the state. TIA was eventually acquired by the federal government, renamed 1MDB, and was positioned as a sovereign wealth fund. In his witness statement, Shahrol said that once the federal government took control of 1MDB, Najib's first course of action was to prevent the company from being audited. Joe said that it would threaten Najib's political standing. The businessman told Shahrol to write a letter addressed to Najib saying that the company did not need to go through a due diligence audit. The letter was written up using talking points Joe gave Shahrol. The witness believed these talking points came out of a discussion between Joe and Najib, the then Prime Minister. Going by Shahrol's testimony, Joe had asked him to write a letter to Najib, the contents of which came from Joe and Najib. Really roundabout, I know. This letter was then sent to Najib, the 1MDB director, chairman, and the auditor general. Shafee was not impressed with Shahrol's testimony. Why didn't you, as CEO, check with the PM if those were indeed his instructions? He quizzed. I had no reason to, Shahrol replied. The instructions were given to him by Joe, and that was as good as coming from Najib himself. But based on what he knows now, the witness believes that the attempt to foil the audit was done to hide Najib's misappropriation of the 5 billion ringgit bonds raised for TIA. Shafee did not let Shahrol off the hook so easily. He put it to the witness that had Shahrol not interfered with the Auditor General's office, the misappropriation of 1MDB's funds would have been found out as early as 2010. Shahrol agreed with the lawyer, but he defended his decision to follow Joe's instructions, saying that at the time he truly believed that there was a political risk to Najib. When the lawyer suggested that there was no reason why an audit shouldn't be done, Shahrol agreed. The lawyer was clearly unhappy with Shahrol's explanation. He accused him of following instructions from Joe blindly and said he was in cahoots with the fugitive businessman. He also accused the witness of hiding the true state of 1MDB's finances by opposing the audit. Shahrol, calm and collected, said he did not agree with the lawyer. Before adjourning for the day, Shafee informed the judge that Najib was needed in Parliament tomorrow and requested for the trial to start at 2:30 p.m. The judge agreed. This podcast was brought to you by the Malaysian Insight. The team behind the Najib Razak 1MDB podcast are Revati Supramaniam, Yap Pek Kwan, and Yvonne Lim. Beat Hong provided additional reporting. And I'm Patrick Teo.